Good morning, everybody. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
In Provincetown. This week featuring
Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey.
Hey.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey.
Wake up, wake up.
No, really, can I have some coffee?
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, October 14th. My name's Bob Curie.
And I'm Harrison Fish.
Thank you for waking up with us in Provincetown. If you woke up in Provincetown today, you're probably very wet.
And it's still dark.
It's
weird.
dark and cold and windy and wet. Fall
But it's like,
weather.
it's warm.
I know. I like a warm, wet morning.
Hey.
You know what warm and wet reminds me of? The very best of the Nicki Minaj catalog.
Ooh.
Nicki's in the news today. Are we going right into what are we doing?
We have a really great show this morning. We have Matt King from the Food and Wine Festival coming in.
The second annual.
Yeah.
Do you already have tickets for your favorite events?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you going to?
Well, duh. I'm gonna go to the grand tasting.
Me too, always.
Yeah. That's the only one that I'm definitely planning on doing. But
Okay.
I'm gonna have time for you because I won't be working anymore. So I'll go to much more than that.
That's our first weekend post-work.
I can't wait.
I'm very excited.
Mm.
Who else is on the show today?
Well, you sat down with David Silva this week.
I did.
Yeah, we talked about the Silva Ataxia Foundation. There is a party
Fundraiser event
next Friday.
next Friday at the Red Inn from 6 to 9. So this week, coincidentally, oddly, 2 days, the Red Inn is closed to the public.
Mhm.
This upcoming Monday, 3 days from now, it is closed because they're shooting a scene for a movie there, a movie that you're in,
Yeah.
right? But you're not in that scene.
No.
Are you going to go? No, you can't then. Because they were like, anybody that works there and wants to be an extra on Monday can be there, but you're already playing someone else.
Yeah, but I'm playing Local Honey,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll be in drag. So I don't think it would actually matter.
There's like a Local Honey cinematic universe.
There really is.
Like you,
There really is.
we need to somehow connect these films.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, they are. They both take place in Provincetown,
But
and I think they're both about like sad gay people.
yay, my favorite genre.
Yeah. But if you didn't catch my film debut, Chrissy Judy is on the festival circuit as we speak. I think it's showing at New Fest tonight.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it is their centerpiece film.
is Todd there?
I think so, yeah. I think he's headed there right after.
Congratulations,
I'm not sure.
Todd.
Is that this weekend? I think.
Probably.
Yeah. But I'm going to be playing Local Honey in another movie this upcoming week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
What is your shoot day?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
You have your lines.
I have one line. It's 4 words.
Is it memorized? This is going to be like Kristen, Lisa Kudrow in The Comeback, where she's like, I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that.
Literally.
I don't need to see that. She's like practicing in her kitchen for like 4 hours.
Literally.
Have you practiced it every single way?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Well, the hard
intonation?
part is I have to have a cigarette, which I don't smoke. So I think I'm going to be very fumbly.
Make it a joint.
And it won't. It can't.
It can't be a joint?
No spoilers.
It's shot in Massachusetts, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not the point of it all. Drag queen. Messy Provincetown drag queen.
That is
It's very method.
Original.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. And then it's closed. It's not closed, obviously. You can buy a ticket to the event on Friday for the Silva Ataxia Foundation. You'll hear all about it, but tickets are $125. It all goes to a donation. There's raffles, tons of fun stuff.
Lots of original artwork donated by some fabulous artists from town.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your week?
My week was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it started at the Washer Shore Festival right after I finished the show here. Right after I finished the show here last Friday, I went home, took a nap, and then began to get ready. I was the correspondent on the red carpet along with Tadana.
Do we have pictures from that?
No. I
No
forgot to see
pictures from the red
picture.
carpet of last week's Washer Shore Festival?
Yeah. I looked so cute, though. I slayed.
If you do
I'm just
say so
gonna say
yourself.
it. I slayed.
No, I saw pictures. You did look really cute.
Yeah, it was very much inspired by you remember Julia Fox, how she went viral like a year or so ago?
For what?
for Uncut Gems.
No, I don't know who that is.
Someone was like, "Oh, how do you feel about me?" She's like, "Well, you could say I was Josh Safdie's muse for Uncut Gems."
She said it like that?
Yeah.
Was she being serious?
Yeah, she's very much that like LA kind of valley girl. And then it went viral because of the way she said it. And then I watched a little video about like who she is and what she does. And besides that, she's had like 2 viral moments, that being one of them. But other than that, she's kind of, what she's done is very cool and I like it.
Yeah.
But my inspiration for the look was one of her looks where she went to some event and she was like very goth. She had this like crazy eye makeup on. And it was like, someone's like, "What's the inspiration for your eye makeup? Who did it?" And she's like, "I did it myself." And they're like, "Did you?" And she's like, "Yeah." So I kept saying that all night.
Did you see any shows that night?
Yeah, so I stuck around for the whole night. It was incredible. We saw Z Machine, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago. He was phenomenal. Really incredible stage presence. Really fun, like 80s inspired pop music, just like boppy music. Then they went straight into Sienna Liggins, who we had on the show probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. She was my favorite person that I saw last year, and it was another incredible performance by her. She was so much fun. She said she's going to move to P-Town.
Cool.
Yeah. And then into Christine, who we had on our show last week, and it was exactly what you would have expected. It was cool. It was like a full-on rock show, and it was tons of fun.
Did you get to go on Saturday too?
No, I worked on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
Peter went to see Man on Man on Saturday.
Oh, did he enjoy?
He loved them.
Good.
I want to, like, you know how you finally meet somebody that lives here and then you suddenly start seeing them around town?
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to start seeing them around town. I was off on Sunday, so I got to go to Wash Ashore on Sunday. I went to the Red Room ostensibly to see Yoli Mayor. But I have to tell you guys, if you were not at the Red Room on Sunday night, you really missed. It was literally a Star is Born moment with Drizzy Bravo,
No way.
the rapper formerly known as Jay White. You might remember Jay used to work at Siemens Bank. He works at Outer Cape Health Services. I am friends with Jay, but I did not know that Jay was a rapper. So when I saw his name on the bill at the Red Room, I was like, oh, cool. I wonder what Jay's going to do. When he came out, it was like so captivating, and I was jumping up and down, and it was so good. And Jonathan came up and he was like, "This is mind blowing, right?" I'm like, "Yes, this is fucking mind blowing." I'm like, "Did you know that he could do this?" Like, I did not know that he could do that.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
And it was just, I hope he gets to do this over and over, more and more, and make this a part of his career, because it was just so good. The writing, like the raps themselves, were just.
As a rapper yourself.
As a battle rapper myself, I know what's good, and I appreciate genius. And Jay is a genius writer. So congratulations, Jay. Yoli Mayor was amazing too. And so was Aida. Aida with 2 eyes. She was hilarious. Also, like, hilarious battle rappy singing verses.
Cool.
Like, very like, one of the songs was called "Sounds Like a You Problem." I'm like, I'm going to be singing this around my house.
I love that.
Sounds like a you problem.
Aida just graduated from Berkeley, and this is kind of one of her big first shows. So congratulations
Amazing.
to Aida.
Everything at the Red Room that night was great. And then we skipped over to the Paramount to see Boy Radio. Love him. And that was also Peter's birthday.
Oh, how was Peter's birthday?
It was really nice.
Good.
Like, he was like, all I want to do on Sunday for my birthday is go to Wash Ashore shows. And I was like, that sounds great, because that's what I have tickets for. So we're going to that. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I just want to give like a complete congratulations to the entire crew for the Wash Ashore Festival. It was such an amazing event. And one thing I noticed is, like, as people, there's so many people who kind of like do a lot of hand wringing in town, be like, oh, we've got to attract more young people. We have to be more diverse. And it's like, they very much have succeeded in doing that by creating. I feel like that's what a lot of those people miss, is like, you have to create things to attract people. And they created a truly incredible event with a diverse group of performers that attracted a very young, diverse crowd. And that's how you do it.
Yeah, they put their money where their mouth is and create events. Yeah. So thank you, Wash Ashore. I can't wait for year 3. It's just going to go like this. Fantastic. Yeah. And then what happened?
Well, this week I did a lot of. So my friend Benji, he had a friend in town, so he was showing him around the Outer Cape. So we did 2 days, one of which was Benji's birthday. He wanted to go for a hike, so we hiked Fox Bottom.
What's Fox Bottom?
It's a trail in Truro. It's like you park on the road and then you walk through this trail. It's an old like research site. So there's like 3 dilapidated buildings on the site that were used for research.
This sounds like a horror movie.
Oh yeah. You're not supposed to go in the buildings.
Did you?
You're not supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah. But they are very much like a horror movie.
Fox Bottom.
Mhm.
I want to do this.
Yeah. There's so many little trails on the Outer Cape and even just in Provincetown. And they're tons of fun. So we did that. Then that night, me, Benji, and a few of his friends went to Montano's for his birthday dinner.
Mhm.
And it was delicious.
Good.
Yeah.
Pizzas, pastas,
We had a pizza appetizer, as we do.
and trivia.
Trivia was fun.
Somebody told me you hosted it by
I
yourself.
did host by myself. Basically, like, I reached out to all my like regular co-hosts the day before, and no one could do it. And then it felt too late to ask someone new who had never done it to have them then write around and be able to do it in
Mhm.
such short notice. So I just did it myself. It was fun. Yeah, it made me kind of interact with the audience more, because usually you kind of just interact with your co-hosts and like let that be the entertainment. It was so busy in here that I didn't even have a table, so I was walking around like saying hi to everyone.
Oh, it's inside this time of year now?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be here Monday for it.
Yay! This coming Monday, you're
Yeah,
gonna do it
because
with
the
me?
Red Inn's closed, so I think I can, I mean, if you'll have me
I
back.
mean, maybe.
So come play trivia on Monday. My triumphant return,
Yeah.
I think, maybe.
Yeah. Me and Bob are also doing trivia the Thursday of the Food and Wine Festival, so make sure to get tickets for that.
That's right, with special rounds on food and wine and Provincetown history. That's what it said in the brochure. Provincetown history?
I
Okay,
could
you're
do that.
writing that one.
I can do all that.
No, that's going to be really fun. So if you guys are here on Monday, come to trivia. And if you're here for the Food and Wine Festival, come to that trivia too.
I want to write my round for the Food and Wine Festival on wine, but it's one of those things. I did a round on cocktails,
Mhm.
and as a professional bartender, I didn't realize the gap in knowledge from a professional bartender to a casual drinker.
Yeah. It's very niche. Like,
It's-
what's
yeah.
that? The Negroni with Prosecco in it
A
called?
Negroni. Spagliato.
Andrew knows it too.
With Prosecco.
Do you know it because of TikTok?
Oh, stunning. So this clip on TikTok from this HBO interview between two Game of Thrones actors popped up on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought it was funny. And as a bartender, I was like, oh, what's a Negroni Spagliato? I looked it up. It's basically a Negroni with Prosecco instead of gin.
Mhm.
So it's sweet vermouth, Campari, and then Prosecco. Kind of similar to an Americano, which is Campari, sweet vermouth, and soda, which was one of the questions in my cocktails round that no one got right. But so it went fully. It took over my For You page. Every other video was a riff on it, or a duet, or a stitch, or whatever you do on TikTok. And I was like, oh, this is blowing up. And then I started getting these videos being like, it's not actually blowing up. You're just a queer person.
It's blowing up on your phone.
Exactly, and only my phone.
But then,
But then it blew up because everyone started making fun of the people that thought it was going viral when it wasn't, so it actually did go viral. But I've seen a lot of bartenders on TikTok saying that they've been making a lot of them and then having a lot of them come back.
why?
Well, these people on TikTok that are normally drinking like Mai Tais, or like, ooh, I'll have a Negroni Spagliato, like the TikTok thing, and it's not for everyone.
No.
It's a bitter cocktail.
Yeah. I mean, even a regular Negroni turns off a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm not even into it.
You don't like Negronis?
No, I can do with Aperol, but Campari's a little too bitter for my taste. I'm bitter enough.
You just got to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt brought us some bubbly to try today. You think?
Did you get up to anything else fun this week?
What did I do this week? Oh, so it's finally, as I like to, some people call it autumn, some people call it fall, some people call it the off season here in Provincetown. I like to call it soup season. It's soup season. I made on Wednesday night a batch of clam chowder and a batch of chicken soup. I just love that smell in the house. Like, it's cold outside, it smells like soup in the kitchen. And I had a couple of friends over for dinner. That was really, really great. And then yesterday, of course, so everybody knows how much of a horror movie fan I am. Halloween Ends, the final Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween movie, technically opens today, but yesterday there were some midnight screenings.
Are we believing that it's her final movie?
I mean, she's 63. If she's still getting chased around by Michael Myers at 83, I mean, he's going to be like with a walker. She's going to be in a wheelchair. I'm like,
I'd like to
I
see it.
doubt it. We'll see.
It's just like the Sex and the City women. I want to see them sitting around a table in a nursing home when they're in their 90s, and I want to see Michael Myers chasing Jamie Lee Curtis when she's in her 90s.
They used to do it would open on Thursday at midnight, and that was like a midnight screening. it started yesterday at 5 o'clock at the mall.
Oh.
So a midnight screening now means 5 p.m. And there were showings at like 5, 6, 7, 8 all through the day. So we went to the 5 o'clock one, and I really, really enjoyed it. Like,
Was it scary?
Scary? I screamed a lot. I was scared. You know, Peter's sitting there going, "Ha, what's wrong with you?" But like, I was screaming my face off. Like,
Fun.
it was gory. There's some stuff in it where you're like, you cover your eyes. But I thought it was a fitting end to this most recent trilogy that they like rebooted or what have you. If you're a horror fan, go see it. But of course, there weren't that many people in it. And as soon as the credits started, so I like stood up and started applauding, and somebody else was like, "Boo!" So, you know,
Were they booing you or the movie?
Probably both. I think it's going to divide fans of the franchise.
Did she die?
I can't tell you anything. No spoilers. No spoilers. I will say only this.
She is like the iconic final girl.
She is the original, most iconic. She's been doing that role for 45 years. They did a lot of really clever things that I was not expecting. So like for the first hour and a half of the movie, I was like, what is going on? What are they doing? This is crazy. Like, it's super fun. Go and see it in the theater where scary movies are meant to be seen. It's really, really fun.
Speaking of scary movies, they released a trailer for a movie a few days ago, and it's gone viral, especially among the gays.
What?
It's called Megan.
Oh my God. That preview was at this movie.
It's so good.
I was laughing a lot too, because it's like...
There's definitely like a camp element to it, but it also looks terrifying.
Yeah. So it's like if Chucky were a girl doll in 2022. So it's like
the
AI.
concept is this young child's parents pass away. The girl goes to live with her aunt and uncle. Her aunt is a scientist who does artificial intelligence, and she creates this doll to be her friend to help her through the trauma. And then the doll goes. They show her being like, your objective is to keep this girl safe. And she takes it a little too seriously, I think. Yeah. But there's a scene at the end where she's like doing a TikTok dance. The robot.
The doll. Yeah, the robot doll. It looks, I mean, I'm probably going to go see that movie. It looks really fun. Yeah. Megan is like the new Karen.
No. She's like the new Chucky, the new Annabelle.
Google the trailer online. It's so ridiculous. I'm taking
so fun,
Ethan.
right?
Ethan and I are going to go see this. What else?
Let's see what we've got going on in the world. I talked a few weeks ago about how Grindr was getting a new CEO. And now there's drama.
With the new one?
Yeah, he hasn't even taken his position yet. He takes it over on the 19th. But the hashtag delete Grindr is trending on Twitter. And I know that's not because every gay guy on the planet got a boyfriend and is deleting deleting Grindr, but it is because in light of the incoming CEO of Grindr, his name is George Arison, he posted tweets stating he was a conservative and that he supported many of Trump's positions.
Why does it surprise anybody that a CEO of a multinational corporation would be Republican?
Yeah.
Like, of course he is.
Yeah.
Being gay does not mean you're automatically cool or democratic.
That
or
seems
smart.
like what Grindr thinks, because Grindr released a statement and said, George is an out gay man, proudly married to his husband and the father of 2 children. George is passionate about fighting for the rights and freedoms of LGBTQ people around the world. He can't be homophobic, he's gay.
Disagree.
Yeah. And these tweets are as late as February of 2020. So like, not that I'm giving it a pass or anything, but like I understand people who are kind of taken up in all of the Trump stuff as he was beginning to run, but after the 4 years of craziness to still be on board,
right?
It's a little wild to
After
me.
January 6th.
Well, this was a year before.
No,
that,
yeah,
right?
year before. Right,
This was as he was ramping up for his second failed run, or his first failed run, I guess.
Not to defend him, but kind of to desensationalize it all. It's like everyone's like, oh, he's a Trump supporter, but like it very much seemed like a person who was being very like observational and like a lot of it was like he said that he was like, oh, the only logical person to be the next step after Trump is Ron DeSantis. He said if Trump is going to be eclipsed in the GOP or defeated, it's going to be from someone like DeSantis, who has learned from Trump but can make the case he is a better suited to advance a new, more combative and populist party. And it's not like he's saying that's what he wants.
Right.
He's just saying like that's what he think is going to happen, and that makes sense.
I agree. That's right. Ron DeSantis is going to run for president, and he'll probably win. I mean, That's what's going to happen. Everybody just, let's enjoy these last couple of years of democracy and freedom.
No. But like, just so slightly in his defense, it seems like a lot of it was observational and not necessarily his own opinion based. But we'll see what happens. But also, like, delete Grindr. It's terrible. Scruff is better.
So is Sniffies.
So is Sniffies. You're right.
Yeah, who even uses Grindr anymore? Grindr is like MySpace. Wasn't it the first one?
MySpace?
Like Grindr was the first one. Wait, Manhunt?
Yeah, M for M.
Oh.
What about Adam for Adam?
Adam for Adam. Yeah.
Those were computer things. I mean, like, as far as a phone app goes, I'm pretty sure Grindr was like the first. I mean, I don't know. Being happily married and all.
We're not slut shaming.
I'm not slut shaming at all.
Just shaming my own slutty behavior.
Yeah, I'm totally promoting Sniffies and Scruffies and all the other ones that aren't Grindr. But who knows? Maybe those are owned by, who knows who owns all of this shit?
Yeah.
Just don't be surprised when somebody who owns something that you like turns out to suck.
That's very true.
Sorry. What are you doing?
I'm trying to. I put a picture in that I need to read, and then I made it really tiny, so I'm making it. There are a bunch of stuff going on this weekend. Tonight is the Fox Fest Foxy Variety Hour. It's going to be comedy, burlesque, music, and drag. It's hosted by one of our favorites, Kristen Becker. Yeah. It's going to be all female performers in honor of Women's Week and Fox Fest. It's going to be super killer, so be sure to get there. It's tonight, 7 o'clock at the Crown and Anchor. Also this weekend, this Sunday, is the first event. It is going to be, let me pull up the flyer real quick. So this Sunday, it's with Eric Mall. It's at 3 p.m. at the Methodist on Shank Painter. It's called the Red Door Chamber Music Presents Mostly Mozart. And Eric's going to be performing. This is the first of 4 events that they're doing, which is going to be featuring queer people in classical music. It's all going to be at the Methodist. So be sure to get there at 3 o'clock this Sunday.
Did you read that? While we're talking about what's happening locally, if you have been reading The Independent or any of your local news sources, you might know that there is a special town meeting on Tuesday, November 9th. And one of the things that's going to come up at this special town meeting is whether or not... So at the October 3rd meeting between the 2 housing boards and the select board, they brought up the possibility of reallocating some of what is currently going into the year-round rental housing trust fund and moving it over to a seasonal workforce housing initiative. And I think people are divided on this. I mean, I know that people are divided on this because they're texting me right now and asking me to talk about it. How do you feel about that?
I haven't put enough thought into make a really definitive statement, because like one of those things, especially with issues like this, the more you think about it, you'll find different angles to look at it, which makes each side look better, kind of thing. But my initial take on it is I don't love that. It very much seems like reinforcing the idea that this town and the homes within it are meant for people that are patrons, and then kind of relegating the people who are I think the people that live and work in this town should be able to live in the homes in this town and not like create. Not that I'm saying dorm rooms for seasonal workers is a horrible idea, but putting a lot of money in town support behind that, I don't love that idea.
The way I look at it, so obviously, like it's a business problem. It is largely a problem for the business owners and the businesses in town if there's not a place for workers to live. And I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Like, hindsight's 2020. Like 15 years ago, some of these businesses probably should have been like, you know what? Let's buy this 6-room house so that we can house workers in it forever. There were people that did that. I mean, Rick Murray has been housing workers of his own for decades, like had houses around where his workers could live. So the onus is on them to ensure that there is a safe place for their workers to live for the summer. And I know for a fact that the tax rate that business owners pay is the same tax rate as a resident. So if the town is going to start paying for places for workers to live, then I want them to help pay for this worker to live.
Mm.
I give me a break on my taxes. If you're going to take my tax dollars and pay for some other workers to live here, to work somewhere else, then like hook me up too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, I entirely see what you're saying, and I somewhat agree. But like, you also have to understand, like, the powers that be in our political structures within town are here for the entire community, and the community is a summation of its residents, the tourists, the businesses. It is all that. It has to support all of that.
Absolutely.
And also, like, worker housing connected to your job it seems like a very practical thing. It seems like a great thing, but it so often is a huge problem.
Oh, totally.
When your housing is attached to your job, and then you're in a situation where you feel unsafe at work, you're being put in situations that are unhealthy at work. Now it's like, if you want to walk away or even complain, you're putting your home at risk as well as your job.
Yeah, totally. I know that.
In a perfect
I know lot of
situation,
people
it's
that's happened
amazing.
to. Yeah. And we're
But-
not in a perfect situation. This problem is multifaceted. It's definitely,
Right.
there's no like silver bullet that's going to solve everything. But I don't think that taking money from the year-round trust it's just, my primary focus is a bright, vibrant community of people that are able to live and work here.
Totally.
You know,
Completely agree.
like I think that that's part of the reason people come here,
Mhm.
you know, because of the community. Like you get to know your waiter or your bartender, and you come year after year to see them and experience things with them.
Mhm.
And the less space we have for people to actually live and work here, not just in the summer, but year round, the more it turns into something like a Nantucket. Like, do we want a community, or do we want a bunch of $1 million houses that sit empty for 6 months out of the year? It's it's already trending that way.
Right.
And like, you know, perhaps the trend is already irreversible. Like, I like to think that it's not. You know, like we live here, we work here, and the more you take away from the people that actually are trying to make a life here, the more it becomes a ghost town.
Right.
That's my stance on the whole thing.
And also, I feel like there is kind of a tradition of people who work in restaurants in Provincetown. Also, so many people who work in restaurants in Provincetown also do other things. Like even us, we work in restaurants. We do this. You have your show, trivia. I perform in town, and then like there's so many people like that. And I feel like oh, let's create worker housing for people that want to come and live here and work for 4 months. I feel like it kind of will
And make a shit ton of money and leave.
yeah,
Right.
make a shit ton of money, leave, not necessarily care or contribute to the community. I don't feel like that is the best when it comes to community building, character building, culture building.
Right.
It's like every year there's people who I know that every spring rolls around, and there are people who have lived here the previous summer, lived here all winter, and now they have to figure out where they're going to live for the summer, and they have to leave. And these people are artists who also are pastry chefs, who are also servers, who are also bartenders, who are henna artists, performers, and then they're getting pushed out because they can't find housing. And then now they're like, oh, the solution is we'll build dorm rooms for people that want to come for a few months.
Exactly.
It's-
And I mean, I don't want to shit on people that like come here for the summer and make money and leave.
Right.
My first summers, I was a summer boy. I took all that money to Los Angeles and lived there during the winter. I used to do it too, and didn't think at the time that I was possibly contributing to some sort of community problem.
Mhm.
You know, I'm a little bit older now and actually live here, but you know, they take the money and go.
Right.
Like, I am very proud to be somebody who makes my money in this community and spends a great deal of it, not just at Stop and Shop, but, you know, I spend money in this community. Like, I go to restaurants, I go to bars, I go to barbers. I like try to support as many of the businesses in town that I can
Totally.
with the money that I make here.
Right. And also this need for seasonal workers, hasn't it been created by businesses that are only open for a short season?
I mean, you hear that the season is getting longer for everyone. Like, it was always a short season.
Yeah.
Like this September and October, like everybody thought that it was going to slow down, and it just stayed busy. This has
Yeah.
been a really busy fall for town. In case you haven't been paying attention, it's been very busy.
And it's also like, once again, a chicken or the egg problem. It's like, do we have a short season because no one comes in the off season, or does no one come in the off season because businesses have decided no one comes so they aren't open?
Right.
And like, if businesses are open, where more people come, but more people have to come in order for more businesses to be open.
And like, are we pricing people out?
Ooh.
You know what somebody sat at the bar and said to me the other night?
What?
Were you working with me this night?
I have someone said something in earshot of me at the bar that I was literally like, I hate this place.
I think I was working with Johnny the other night, and these two guys were sitting there, and they were like, you know what, we got to say, We just had dinner here. Wonderful experience. The food here is very reasonably priced, but the drinks are kind of outrageously priced. And I was like,
Have you been
is this the
anywhere else?
first place you drank in Provincetown? Like, have
Yeah.
you gone into town? Have you gone anywhere else before you said this to me?
Right.
And they were like, no. And I was like, we'll do that. Are you here for a couple of days? Go out tomorrow and go to 3 places and then come back here and complain to me about the price. Like, you know, wrong.
Yeah, there's this weird idea that Reddit is like the most expensive place in town, which I think once upon a time it may have been, but in general, in my observation, the prices haven't been raised. Where it seems like year after year in most other places, prices are raised. And now I can confidently say that the Reddit is the best value restaurant in town. For like, I'm not saying it's cheap or expensive, but I'm saying for what you pay and what you get, it is 100% the best value place in town.
And we're not just saying that because we work there.
Yeah. Like $14 martinis that are hitting the brim of the martini glass, like that's a good deal.
Oh, speaking of good deals, starting October 16th, which is this Sunday, from Sunday to Thursday, they're bringing back that $40 3-course prefix menu at the Red Inn. So for the last 2 weeks that we're open, the first 5 days of every week, you can get a full 3-course dinner for $40.
Work.
I know.
Yeah. Come visit us.
Come sit at the bar, say hi.
Yeah.
Eat great food for not too much.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't think you're going to be in town on November 9th, are you? You are.
Is that
You're going to be here. That's the night of the special town meeting.
what day of the week is that?
It is a Tuesday?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Or a Wednesday? No, it's
I
a
won't be
Wednesday.
here on Wednesday.
You're not?
I'm flying out Wednesday morning.
Oh, for the wedding?
Yeah, Chris and Chris's wedding.
Yeah, no, November 9th is a Wednesday. But, you know, if
please
you
be
are,
there, regardless of your opinion. If you are a voter, please show up. We want to hear everyone's opinion so that we can get a good idea of what we should be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail your news segment.
That's okay. Derail away.
Local news is important, man.
Definitely. Broadway legend and queer icon Angela Lansbury passed away this week.
5-time Tony Award winner, 3-time Oscar nominee. She was 17 when she was in Gaslight and was nominated for an Oscar for her first film role.
She was not in Gaslight.
Angela Lansbury was nominated for an Oscar.
No, she wasn't. Are you crazy?
Bitch.
Are you crazy? She's not in that movie.
What are you talking about?
I'm gaslighting you.
Oh.
Get it? I'm gaslighting you.
From the person who had never heard of the movie until 2 days ago. Very good.
She was in that. She was nominated for her first Oscar for that movie at the age of 20.
No, she was 17 when she was cast in it. I think she was 18 when she...
And 20 when she was nominated for her first Oscar.
I guess I'll take his word for it. Are you gaslighting me again?
No. She has 11 Emmy nominations for Murder, She Wrote.
Only 11?
Yeah, she never won.
I know.
Which is...
Did she ever win any Emmy?
I'm unsure.
She's like the Susan Lucci of the primetime Emmys, except never having one.
Yeah, she was a huge fundraiser for AIDS research in the late 80s and early 90s. She also made it a point of hiring, on Murder, She Wrote, like the golden age era actors who weren't able to keep their I don't know if it was SAG at the time, but they weren't able, at the time you had to get a certain amount of points per year in order to keep your health insurance through SAG. So she made a point of hiring these actors so that they could keep their status and maintain their health insurance. She just seems like she was like such an incredible person.
And she also advocated for aging gracefully. She's like, women that like erase the marks that time has etched into your soul are just worried that their true selves will not shine through. She's like, who you actually are is enough. Like that was one of her main messages. A tale as old as time.
What is your like iconic Angela Lansbury role?
I mean, I grew up on Murder, She Wrote, but I finally saw The Manchurian Candidate when I was an adult, and she's so good in it. And at the time, she was 3 years older than the man who played her son. So like she always was like, because she wasn't doing things to her face, she was cast as older than she was a lot of the time. But also Beauty and the Beast. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Sweeney Todd as Mrs. Lovett. Like you think about that original production of Sweeney Todd and how iconic it was, and if you like try to imagine it without Angela Lansbury, and it's just as like so much heart is taken away, that she so much is Mrs. Lovett and is so iconic in that role.
Yeah.
Other Broadway news. We've been talking about Leah Michele, who took over the role of Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl. She's getting rave reviews still, but not without drama.
What?
This past week on the Michelle Collins show, they had Chris Colfer, who is one of her co-stars in Glee, and the host Michelle was like, oh, guess what I'm doing tonight? Do you want to join? And he's like, oh, are you seeing Funny Girl? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, suddenly my day really filled up.
Wow.
And then she's like, oh, you're like, are you gonna see Funny Girl while you're here in New York? And he's like, no, I can be triggered at home.
Wow.
Yeah. Other Glee stars have been asked about whether they're gonna see Funny Girl. Kevin McHale, who played Artie, and Jenna Ushkowitz, who played I don't remember her name from the show. What's her name, Jenna, on the show? I can't remember. But when they were asked, they did give a more diplomatic answer, but they also made it obvious that they were not planning on supporting Lea Michele.
I mean, they worked together for a long time and know her in a way that I do not.
Yeah. She's an early monster.
There's a lot of talented monsters out there.
Yeah.
We all have that coworker that can bully you, and people are different outside of work is all I'm saying. Maybe she's a great person. Maybe she's a great friend, but a horrible coworker.
And maybe she's horrible. Who knows?
And maybe she's horrible all the time, but I am going.
You're going to go?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Funny Girl.
Oh, you said you bought tickets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. But didn't you say as you were looking, tickets were like $1,400?
If you try to go anytime in the next 2 weeks, it's like $900.
That's crazy. Are those resale, or is that how much they're selling?
That's resale.
For? Oh, okay.
Well, because it sold out. As soon as she took over that role, it sold out for as far as the eye could see. I am not spending $900 to see Lea Michele do Funny Girl.
No. Also this week, the Alex Jones defamation trial came to an end. Yeah. So as I was reading up about it, I was kind of shocked by some of the how it all went down. So Alex Jones is a far-right conspiracy monger. He's been ordered to pay just shy of $1 billion to the families of victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting.
Sometimes, rarely, the justice system does work.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy.
It might not end up working. So this is one of 3 defamation suits filed by the victims of the Sandy Hook massacre. Jones, over the years, claimed that the mass shooting was a hoax, which caused threats and harassment to the families. He suggested that they were paid actors pretending to grieve their children as pro-gun control propaganda. And one of the most horrifying things that I heard come out of this, the harassment and threats, is the people who listened to this man were going to the gravestones of these children and pissing on them, being like, these aren't even real. What the fuck? He was found guilty, not by his jury, but by default, because he refused to submit key evidence, including his financial records. I wonder why. Because once you get this kind of judgment passed down to you, they're gonna have to look at your financial records to find out. But basically, his company has filed for bankruptcy, and this was before the defamation lawsuits came out. And he is purported to be broke, so they're saying that they might not get.
They're not going to get $1 billion,
right?
But.
So because the judge found him guilty by default for not submitting the evidence, the jury's only decision was to decide on the amount that he should give, and they decided $965 million. So
good.
They were not happy with him.
He's disgusting. I mean, this is another case of somebody who doesn't ever leave their hometown but wants to comment on something that's happening thousands of miles away. How could you even pretend that that didn't happen?
Right.
You have to be a monumental asshole to even say or suggest something like that. And when you have a platform as large as that, you should have to pay $1 billion.
Right. When his attorney was asked about the verdict, he said, "Today is a very, very, very dark day for freedom of speech."
Whatever.
Ick. Marjorie Taylor Greene echoed that sentiment. So, yeah. Okay, I think I have one more story.
I know we're preaching to the choir, everybody.
Right.
But these people are shitheads.
Yeah. The Kevin Spacey and Anthony Rapp trial began this week.
Speaking of shit.
Right. So Ren star Anthony Rapp is suing Spacey for assault, battery, and intentionally inflicting emotional distress. This is an incident that dates back to incident at a party at Spacey's house in 1986 when Rapp was 14 and Spacey was 26, and he tried to initiate a sexual encounter with him. In court on Wednesday, Spacey's lawyer insinuated that Rapp had spoke to BuzzFeed about the incident in 2017 to raise his public profile, which is often something hurled at victims when they make allegations against prominent people. When Anthony took the stand, his lawyer asked him, like, did you do that? And he responded, I came forward because I knew I was not the only one Kevin Spacey had made advances to, which the court, there was an uproar, it was objected to, and then the jury was asked to disregard, which, does that ever work?
No.
You're like, oh, sure.
Pretend you didn't hear that. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. How do you feel about this? He's asking for $40 million.
I mean, the takeaway for me is that Kevin Spacey seems to be and have been an utter asshole and monster and predator for quite some time. It seems like every time you turn around, more people are accusing him of being a complete fucking monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of hitting on them.
Of hitting on them.
Groping people.
Unwanted touching, but certainly nothing.
The crazy part about it
There's so much unwanted touching going on in the gay community at large.
That is very true.
I mean, if I could get $40 million from every person that groped me when I didn't want it to happen, I would personally solve the housing crisis here.
But that also doesn't make it any less bad.
True, but also
part of the alleged incident, Anthony Rapp said that part of it was he laid on top of him, and in this attempt for a sexual advance.
Mm-hmm.
And so Anthony Rapp was in New York at that time when he was 14, and he was in a play. And part of that play, which I don't know the rest of the plot, and I don't know how this fits in, but basically he plays a child whose father comes home from the bar very drunk, lies on top of him, and starts whispering in his ear, begging for sex.
A comedy, then.
Who knows? But the Kevin Spacey's lawyer is purporting that he is getting, because of the trauma around playing that role, he is mixing it up and thinking that his time on stage, putting that on this incident.
This is where Kevin Spacey gets really gross. I mean, but if you were him, wouldn't you say this too?
I mean, it's a lawyer trying to win a case, right? Yeah.
I mean, how often do you get inappropriately touched in ways that you do not enjoy?
At work?
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened more when I was a waiter because the people are closer to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best things about being a bartender is that there's sort of this barrier.
Yeah.
People would have to really reach to grab you inappropriately.
It's honestly pretty respectful here in Provincetown, but when I worked in Palm Springs, it was pretty horrific. Oh. Very often I was like, no, don't touch me. Can I get you a cocktail?
Unfortunately, that is one of the uglier aspects of gay culture.
Right.
It's all guys we're talking about. Yeah, and we know how guys are.
It's also the kissing on the lips. Stop kissing me on the lips.
And especially during and post-COVID, no more platonic face kissing or mouth kissing, I mean.
No.
Aim over here.
Let's chat with David.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bob sat down with David at the Red Inn a few days ago to talk about the Silva Ataxia Foundation and their upcoming charity event. Let's take it away. I don't know if Andrew's paying attention.
Andrew, are you playing that video?
Andrew, can you play the video with David Silva?
I can play.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here at the Red Inn with David Silva, who, aside from being one of the owners of this beautiful establishment, is the namesake and host of the Silva Ataxia Foundation's annual fundraiser, which is taking place here at the Inn next Friday, October 21st from 6 to 9, right?
Yes.
And this is going to be your fourth fundraiser.
This is our fourth year, yes. We missed 1 year because of COVID, but, we still raised quite a bit of money that year of COVID. But last year's fundraiser was very successful because we had missed the 1 year from COVID.
And you were saying that from the beginning of this foundation, which you started after your brother Mark passed away from this disease, that your goal was 100,000.
That was the commitment,
right,
to start a foundation through Brigham and Women's, which is where our doctor Vic Carana, is at the Ann Romney Building in Boston, the Ann Romney Building for Neurological Disorders. And his research facility is the entire 11th floor of that building, which we had a tour of a couple of years ago. It's pretty amazing. They have my mother's brain and spinal column and organs. And then 3 years later, they have the same thing for my brother Mark. So they're able to grow actual cells to test the drugs on. And they showed us in this cooler, they had like 4 stacks of trays. And there had to be at least 30 trays in the stack. And each tray was probably 10 by 10, little tiny brain cells that they were growing. Yeah, it was way over our head. Yeah,
This sounds like science fiction.
yeah. And then they took us in under a microscope and they showed them developing at different stages. But with the research, they're able to test the gene therapy drugs that they're trying to develop to fight and eventually cure Machado Joseph's or SCA3. It's in the same family as Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's, all those ataxias that affect your motor skills. So when you first get it, you notice your gait is off. You're kind of stumbling a little when you walk. So people think you're a drinker, like they did with my mother. But that's where you first notice it. And then as it goes on, you notice like tying your shoes is a little more difficult. And your eyes start to do this as it progresses, so it gets more difficult to read.
And you just started using a walking stick within the last year.
Yeah, a year ago, June. Makes a big difference because, especially in Mexico, where there's not a lot of handrails,
Right.
and where they are, they're kind of low because the Mexican people are a little bit shorter. So it's like having my own handrail to get around. And
Are you going to be Gandalf for Halloween?
no, I will be in Puerto Vallarta on the beach for Halloween.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I leave it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today.
But thanks to a lot of what your foundation has helped getting going at Brigham's, you're convinced that they're going to find a cure for this disease in your lifetime.
Yeah, I really didn't think. I mean, my mother always said I donated a lot of blood. I don't know where it went, but I hope it did some good. And that was before we found Dr. Vic in January of 14. And he came down in June and did the stem cell plug research of my mother, my brother, myself, my sisters that don't have it, my cousin that doesn't have it. And it was the largest single family, donation that he had. And it's kind of grown from there. But it's been since my brother Mark was diagnosed at 42, officially went to the doctor. He knew he kind of had it. And the doctors did the test, and he's like, yeah, you have it. What do you want me to do about it? It's like, nice bedside manner. But the doctor says, well, we can do the definitive test. And Mark's like, what's that? He says, it's a spinal tap. He says, no, I'll take your word for it. And then 3 years later, when he was 45, so that would have been 99, he was born in 54, they were able to test for it with a blood test. And so they still do all the neurological follow my finger, and when they did that for me, and they move the finger fast, and you can feel your eyes lag to catch up. But then they do baseline brain MRI because that's where they track it. But yeah, the research, they're gonna cure it eventually. I'm convinced by CRISPR, where they cut out the affected DNA, the part of the DNA that's affected with the repeats, and then they have to splice in the corrected version, which is what they're working on, and they're gonna hopefully get to that with the gene therapy that they're very close to figuring out.
Like Jurassic Park.
It is a little Jurassic Park, yeah. Exactly.
And so next Friday, everybody, the restaurants close to the public, but the event is from 6 to 9 on Friday, the 21st of October.
The
what can
tickets
people
are
expect?
$125.
Mhm.
You get it's $100 is tax deductible. It gets you 2 drink tickets. We have a fantastic spread that Sean and Philip graciously donate, and then we have a heart poll where you can buy a heart for $25 and you're guaranteed to win something worth at least $25, but it could be up to $200.
Last year, I won $200 worth of Muse gift cards. $200.
And and we had $200 from March the Oil as well. So
Mhm.
somebody won. So yeah, and then we have a silent auction with like 7 pieces of art that are done
Derek
by,
Macara.
Laureen Brizano, Jimmy Lee Curtis,
Sal Del Deo print.
Sal Del Deo print that was on the back of the festival T-shirt this year. My partner in crime, Michael, is donating a beautiful piece. And then we have Thomas is donating Painting P-Town for $6, and we're throwing in a Reading gift card to go with that. We have Cape Air tickets, round trip, stay at the Red Inn, dinner at the Red Inn, art student tours. There's a package for Land's End Inn that the boys graciously donated. So we put stuff together to make it, more enticing. We have 2 packages, one from Be Well
Mm-hmm.
and one from my buddy Mark Lynch, who is a big investor in the same type of business out in Western Mass, and he's going to give me another. So we have 2 of those that we're putting in the silent auction this year.
Excellent.
So, yeah, that's new and very different.
So if you guys are in town, buy a ticket to this event next Friday. And if you're not in town, you can donate all year long through silvaataxiafoundation.org, correct?
Yep.
Which is scrolling across the screen right now.
And if you don't want to buy the ticket online, you can pay at the door,
Mhm.
cash, check, or credit card
Mhm.
that night. Just message me or the inn that you want to go for head count purposes. But it's a great way for us to say thank you in person. Everybody who has made this whole thing worthwhile and extremely successful, and we're very thankful.
And so, so far the foundation has raised over $300,000. We're hoping that by the end of next Friday, you'll be over 400.
Yeah, we're at 368 in July, so I think we'll hopefully be well over 4 after Friday.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, come on down and help us cure this disease in your lifetime. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You should be really proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Oh, you're going to cry. So if you're in town, please come to the Red Inn next Friday from 6 to 9 for the Silva Ataxia Foundation fundraiser, or you can donate online. Hopefully that was scrolling.
It wasn't.
Sylvia,
When you were like, "This is scrolling,"
you didn't even do it?
I don't know how to do that shit.
Yes, you do. Remember how I was talking about bullying coworkers? Please welcome back to the show Mr. Matt King, whose Food and Wine Festival, the 2nd annual, is the first weekend in November.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being back.
Of course.
We're really excited for this.
I know.
We have people flying in from all over for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour some bubbles for you this time.
Yay! What is this?
So this is just some cava that we're pouring. So this year's theme was Portugal and Spain, the Iberian Peninsula.
Mhm.
And there's nothing really hard and fast about the theme. It's just to give some restaurants some guidance or suggestions as to what they want to do.
Mhm.
But that being the case, we got some really great sponsors. Freshene and Seguro Viudas are sponsoring a couple of different events. So we're
Mhm.
pouring a little bit of cava. So if you're not familiar with cava, this is just Spain's version of the traditional method of making sparkling wine. So it does see some time on the leaves, have that little bit of creaminess in it, but it's light and refreshing and usually about a fifth of the price of champagne. So enjoy cava.
Oh, with the brand new branded wine glasses as well.
I know you like products like that.
I love a commemorative cup.
Are we getting wine necklaces this year?
I don't. Nah. I loved my wine necklace.
Well,
you still have one, then bring it with you to the
Perfect.
grand tasting.
Cheers.
You can't just carry
to
the
another
glass.
successful festival.
Thank you.
I know this is a lot of work for you and stress.
Mhm.
Putting on something of this magnitude is a lot of work. Have you been sleeping?
Not as well as I should be. It is. It's all the things that your checklists in your head and making sure everything is going the way it should. This is really. We're about 2.5 weeks out from this, so this is where all of the T's and I's need to be fixed and set. So this is the part where it's the most stressful, but
It's delicious.
but we're getting there, and I feel really confident. I'm really happy with ticket sales. I'm really happy with the response from town. It does make me nervous when two people that are hosting an event forget that they're doing it, and
I didn't forget.
What are
We
you talking
talked about
about?
it.
Almost did.
I said it on the show.
Oh, I think I'm only going to that. We were hosting one of
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Come do
That's
trivia.
We're working
Yeah,
that
we're
event,
the
and then
talent.
we're going
We're not
to have
going.
fun at the grand tasting.
All right, that
The
makes me feel
caviar
better.
tasting.
That makes
You
me-
did hear us mention it, right?
I did.
Okay,
He was
good.
sitting right there.
Get your tickets now.
Buy tickets to trivia first.
Yeah.
That's gonna be super. And that kicks off the weekend, Thursday night.
Well, Thursday afternoon is the opening reception at the masthead. So we do that during the afternoon, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We have live music from Mike Flanagan, and Joao is performing, and we're having some cava cocktails as well as red and white wine, and that is going to be catered by East End Market. So we're going to do this beautiful spread for that, and a lot of all of my volunteers, because if you do volunteer for other events, that's the event that you get to go, because I don't need tons of staff for that one. So that's the one you can really enjoy. And anyone that has all the other events, they can come to that one because that's the afternoon one. So you can come do it before you do trivia. You can
Absolutely.
come to
How can someone reach out to you to become a volunteer?
that. Go to the website, ptownfoodandwinefestival.com. There's links all over there. Send an email my way. Or you can DM me on the Instagram account, which is ptownfw festival. It's a new Instagram because everything was hacked last spring. So there are 2 accounts. So make sure you're on the active one now and reach out. Yeah.
Excellent. And how is this year's festival different than last year's?
Well, this year has been a little more challenging as it's growing, as it's developing. I'm still only just, really one person that does all of this. So I'm getting spread thinner and thinner. And I think some of the challenges have to do with seasonal housing and workers. And a lot of the town gets really excited and they say, this is wonderful that you're doing something in the off season to extend the season. Like, we want to extend the season. But in the same breath, they'll say, but we're closed then. So it's a challenge to make sure that we are inviting people to this town, and also when they get here, there's stuff to do in this town.
Right.
So really encourage a lot of entertainment venues to book their talent outside of the festival, so that there's things for people to do to stay longer. Other restaurants stay open, do a special prefix menu. There's the event, which is basically a restaurant week, allows all of these restaurants to stay open, not do a ticketed event, but just really get the advertising out there that they are open this weekend to come and enjoy whatever they want to prepare, their regular menu, a prefix menu, however that may be. So there's been some challenges with that. But yeah, we're learning and growing, and I think we're tweaking it every year and listening to feedback from last year as well. Yeah.
What do you feel like were the big successes of last year?
One of the big successes was the grand tasting. That really does, it's Saturday afternoon. And this year we're adding food to the grand tasting. So there will be stations of food in there. Do not expect an entire meal when you go. But Frank from Relish will be there, and Ori from East End Market will be there, as well as Scott Cakes, so that there will be some things to snack on during that event. Other events that were really successful, the gallery stroll. I never thought on a Friday afternoon we'd get so many participants for the gallery stroll. The power of complimentary wine, I guess. But
That's what the galleries have been doing right for hundreds of years.
exactly. So we just tweaked it a little bit. We made it during the day because if we do have inclement weather, it's not as harsh in the daylight than it is at night. So this year we have 14 different galleries participating. So it will be 14 different spots on Friday afternoon where you can get complimentary wine. That's free. So keep that in mind.
That's my favorite prize.
Yeah, there are some free things, and you can just bounce around, hop around to some different galleries. And the dinners are always a great success. We have Tin Pan Alley is really stepping it up. They're bringing in a chef from the Food Network to do some of their food. We have a beautiful Spanish wine producer at that. The Crown is doing something totally unique this year. So they wanted to do something really visual and more than just a dinner, more than just a traditional wine dinner. So we're calling it they're calling it the Myth of Persephone. So there'll be music, live entertainment, as well as Reina and the chefs there taking care of all the food. So that's going to be a beautiful event. And they're partnering with the bookstore. I can't remember.
The East End bookstore?
No, the bookshop across the street.
Across the
The one
street.
that used to be there that's no longer.
Yeah.
They're looking for a new space.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So they're partnering, and that event you will get the Provincetown cookbook for that. So part of your ticket gets the cookbook, and then they're also contributing to the Commons, as a lot of our events are given to different charities. So that one goes to the Commons. So yeah, there's a lot of new fun stuff that we're doing.
Do you have a copy of that cookbook yet?
I haven't seen it
I
yet
want to see this.
because you think you're in it.
I know that I am. My clam chowder recipe is in this cookbook. Yes.
So cool.
I need to see this.
Okay. Is it just like 15 clam chowder recipes?
I don't know. They were like, can you donate a recipe to this? And I was like, well, this is my favorite like Provincetown recipe that I make all winter long every year. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit more about the caviar tasting event.
Okay, so this year, one thing we made sure of is that really no event overlaps with another event. That was one problem with last year. You couldn't go to everything if you wanted to, and then some things overlap. So this year, over at Cafe Heaven, Quinn really wanted to do the caviar tasting that we had last year again. So this year it's Friday afternoon. So after the gallery stroll, don't get too boozy. And if you want to go to Cafe Heaven, tickets are available for that. It is, we're going to start with caviar from Black River Caviar Company. We're pairing that with Bollinger Champagne, and then we're rolling into all sorts of high-end wines. So all of these wines are exceptional wines. We're doing Spanish wines, some Rioja, Prihat, Bordeaux. We're doing California wines, Washington wines from all over. That's a really fun event, and Quinn's going to put out a spread for that. Tickets for that are $150, but we're also taking a portion of that and doing for Raquel's foundation.
That's very sweet. And that was one of the ones that I went to last year and had so much fun at. I went with Susan and Joe.
Fun.
Yeah.
So, definitely go to the caviar. I don't know anything about caviar.
You don't need to.
Yeah. But
It's fun.
it felt very I'm fancy today.
Yeah, that's a good one. And there's limited tickets for that one, so get your tickets now for that.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
What else are you super excited about?
I'm excited for the brunches on Sunday. That event last year at the Pilgrim House was so successful. For the one show, we're adding a second show, so we're doing an 11 and a 1 o'clock. Remember, what's really interesting this year, we have daylight savings time, so even though that, you're going to be hungrier than you think that Sunday morning. So keep that in mind. You might need, if you're going to the 1 o'clock show, that's going to feel like 2 o'clock. So eat something before that. But that's going to be really fun. We have some great performers there. And also this year we're collaborating with the Boat Slip to do tea dance for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So last tea will be that Sunday. And it might seem a little dark because of daylight savings time.
Oh,
It's gonna
right.
feel like a night party, but it is going to be last tea, and we're going to have a blast there.
Yes, sunset's going to be at like 5 o'clock that day.
It's like at noon.
Oh
that
my
day.
god. This is so exciting.
This is the last time we fall back.
Yeah, they're eliminating
That's
daylight.
right.
Yeah.
You sure?
Fairly.
You
They
got
voted on it last March.
I think you're just gaslighting again.
I think he is too. It's a very gaslight forward show.
I mean,
Cheers, Angela Lansbury.
yeah.
And programs are out.
Oh yeah, where can you pick up a program?
These should be everywhere I've been trying to get them everywhere around town. So most of the venues have some of these. All the galleries that are participating have them. We also I try to stock up Joe's Coffee with them as much as I can. I'm around every week replenishing stuff. It has a lot of fun information. Probably some information that you can use for your trivia. To build
There's a
that
lot of
out.
valuable information in this magazine.
Handsome faces.
Look at these two people hosting this show on this page of this magazine. I love that.
So yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Great. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course.
And also, like I know you mentioned this already, but like last year, I did fully notice that town had such a great energy. Where usually it feels pretty desolate that weekend. So thank you for bringing more people to town on a weekend that's typically not so lively.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone who stays open for this. I know some people usually close for this and they stay open for this event. That really helps out. And thanks to all the places that give gift certificates. Oh, and we are doing radio giveaways all next week on WCOD. So that's 106.1. That's partnering with iHeartRadio. We're giving away tickets to the grand tasting, tickets to the drag brunch, and also a grand prize, a 2-night stay at the boat slip, and tons of gift certificates, even from the brewery. We're giving away some gift certificates. So tons of stuff to win. We want to give back to everyone that helped participate and give a big thanks and shout out.
Awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All your hard work is about to pay off, Matt King.
Oh, God. Bring on the volunteers.
When he was
Buy
like,
tickets now.
What are you excited for? I'm sure in the back of your mind, you were like, for all of it to be done.
People ask that. Have we started planning next year? And I don't like to think too far in advance to plan out next year. But Town Hall is already reserved for next year. So
Excellent.
here we go again, right?
Yeah, right.
Why do I do this?
So we'll see you all the first weekend in November.
Yeah, for some food and wine.
Is that a show?
Yeah.
Thank you all for tuning in today, and thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah. Be Well Cannabis, The Red Inn, Cafe Heaven, Crown and Anchor, Provincetown Brewing Company, the Adam Howard Metal Workshop, and Project Valor Sailing.
Don't forget this Wednesday, by the way, is the premiere of our friend Jeremy Hobson's new radio show, The Middle, live 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can check it out on over 500 NPR stations around the country. He's our guest next week. I can't wait to talk to him about his new radio program.
I'm excited he's coming on.
Yeah, tune in next Friday. Listen to his show on Wednesday. And thank you all for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Good morning, everybody.